All right, so on day 7 of the Diddy trial, you will learn everything you need to know in less than 10 to 15 minutes. Hey everyone, this is Morali's daily and consistent content. Let's get right into the video, which has 3 prosecution testimonies from Don Rashard and Kerry Morgan. To subscribe, simply click the subscribe button. Cassie's ex-best friend, who I believe was very strong, and David James, whose court is continuing tomorrow at 3 p.m. New York time, which is a cutoff point that has now been changed. I'm not angry about that, but I think it's a good time to end this all, so let's get started. Now, as for Don Rashad's continued testimony, I think her credibility was somewhat damaged because Nicole Westmoreland, one of Diddy's attorneys and the only black woman lawyer on his team, did a great job of essentially undermining her credibility in a hostile work environment. The fact that, she wanted to return to Diddy after everything that he did, and the fact that she said that she was concerned for her safety, but at the same time said that, she needed the money via Diddy and basically his people. So that in itself was interesting. She did corroborate Cassie's abuse and what happened, and explained multiple scenarios where Diddy did show serious forms of DB, which I thought was great, and basically made it clear that she also wanted to help Kayla Harper, and that was why she returned to Diddy via the prosecution's questioning, which I thought was great, but she did give different answers to the prosecution team in regards to why she went back, which was basically for the money. And then in response to, the defense, it was more so about, needing to help other people, and basically got to the point where she made the lawsuit. And response was she made the lawsuit for justice, but then got to the nitty-gritty, and it was because of the money. Her answers just seemed quite odd to me. I don't think she was wrong in what she was saying, but I think that the way that she was responding, it was very easy for the defense to actually point holes. Now I'll give you an example. Do you agree with me that it has been difficult for you to keep your story straight regarding this egg incident, said Dottie's attorney. Cassie reacts when Diddy tosses the pan on her. I said it as closely as I could, but I don't think that is a strong response in and of itself. It should be, no, this happened. This is what I remember, rather than, I can remember it to the point where as closely as I could remember it, it didn't seem as certain. The response seemed a little ambiguous, like this, and it was like, well, if we are recording something of serious DB, you should be able to remember it properly, as opposed to, this is the best that I can do for what I think it could be. Nicole, is the day after you mentioned that Mr. Combe claimed that individuals went missing. Westmoreland replied, yes, I don't think that Don Rashad is absolutely meaningless in her testimony, which people are claiming, or that, it was very horrible and that she crumbled. I felt like, there was cracks there, but at the same time, I don't think what she did was terrible. She was able to corroborate. In regards to Cassie, she did say that she felt for her own safety, that she worried that, she was going missing. I just felt like sometimes she was giving different answers in regards to why she would return back to Diddy, which, people can see is quite, confusing. Now, not only that Kerry Morgan comes into the mix, Kerry Morgan comes in very strong. She is the one for me today that I did not expect. She basically is giving the energy that we thought Aubrey would have given if Aubrey actually got subpoenaed, to which he didn't. Kerry was able to corroborate. Not only so much that, Cassie went through, but also spoke and gave us names. She spoke about how Cassie'S was dragged down a 50-foot hallway in Jamaica by Diddy for spending too much time in the bathroom, and how they both ran away, and that she was hiding in a ditch in the woods, and that Diddy was looking for her. She confirms that, she was given $30,000 from Diddy through Cassie, and that Cassie was a person giving the money. And when she was asked about this, she was like, no, P. Diddy gave me the money was PD, it belongs to him. Basically making it clear that Cassie was the middleman. This was because Diddy hit Kerry quite badly. And therefore, this was the money that was given as compensation. And then Kerry cut off Cassie completely as a friend. And I can completely understand that, but she here is to support Cassie. In my opinion, she mentions how Diddy was calling her 50 times in a row, and that also Christina Coram was calling Kerry to try and search for, Cassie, so I'm glad that she mentioned Christina. Not only that, but she also mentions how Cassie was jealous that Kim Porter was able to go to events that she couldn't, and that she also was jealous the fact that Diddy was dating Gina, because Gina was a little girl now. Gina obviously was not a minor. But the fact that Kerry was using words like this, I think, is very strong, because it goes to show that, Diddy was grooming these people, had somebody much younger than his age, and that he has this kind of sinister approach. Not only that, but then she reveals in regards to how Cassie was clean. Before meeting Diddy, Cassie was completely drug-free, which I felt was crucial. She has since admitted that she went to treatment and had these addictions, and she also affirms that there was some international drug trafficking going on because Diddy was constantly supplying substances, whether in Miami or IA. The manner in which Did's lawyer Agnello was attempting to poke fun at Kerry when she was being questioned was that she just said, "No, the money was his." She was prepared when the point-blank period ended, and I appreciate that she was mentioning names, whether they were Christina Coram or Roger Bonds. Even so, Diddy Rashard revealed the names of Neyo and Usher, who both saw Cassie being beaten up by Day in front of them at a dinner table, and did nothing about it. In addition, David James, a former employee of Bad Boy Records, has come forward as an assistant and revealed that Cassie confessed to him that her life was in his control and that HR informed him that "we serve Diddy here," which, in my opinion, is concerning. In addition, it seems to have been stated that he liked Cassie because she was moldable. So again, this leads to grooming and demonstrates that he has the ability to control someone's life. However, the fact that assistants at Bad Boy have confirmed that Cassie confessed to them, "This man controls every aspect of my life. This is more than DV," is very important. A lot of people are saying that this is just DV. Absolutely not, especially today. Via all three testimonies, they confirmed that there was a system around that was helping to organize crime and organize the control of Cassie's life. Whether it be Christina Phone and people, Roger Bonds is mentioned there again. And then other assistants or even HR saying that we serve Diddy. They are stating that a hostile environment was created to help continue, either make someone like Cassie or anybody else mold into whatever Diddy wanted. Also for the fact that Cassie was clean before, and that Diddy was the one that was introducing these substances, that definitely comes under RICO. So I think today was overall a huge successful prosecution. The highlight to me was Kerry Morgan's testimony, and also Nicole Westmoreland digging in Don Rashard and going in left. Right? I feel like she did quite well for that side, but of course she did great for the YSL trial. But I think that today was great, and tomorrow is going to continue with David James and I believe Capricorn Clark. The two people who work for Bad Boy Records, those are the testimonies that I think are very interesting because they understand and let us know what goes on. There are certain levels here to this conversation. I think where Smallland did great, Agnafilo was absolutely awful. I think Kerry did great. I think Dorm Rashad did okay. I don't think it was as bad as people are making out to be. And I also think that David James, this assistant, is going well so far. He also expressed how all he had to say to Diddy was, "Can't stop, won't stop." And he immediately got hired like this for some unknown reason. Today, shout out to everybody who joined in the live. I think it was great. I think we covered everything. We were going through it one by one by one. I will try my best to do a live stream tomorrow as well. And, the fact that this shuts off now basically at 3 p.m. is great for all of us. So the fact that we're not all tied down to this for the rest of the day. But of course, this is still going to be going on daily. I think today overall was a great day for prosecution. Agnello even admitted to the judge during the submission of new evidence that he had no idea what was going on. He was so unprepared and unorganized, and in my opinion, this man should have been the lead in this case. But it just wasn't that way. Sketches have emerged of Diddy writing a ton of notes about what he was writing on, and it is obvious that he must have been passing those notes onto the lawyers. The fact that there are so many notes there in my opinion, indicates that Diddy is frustrated because, well, what are you writing about? You're not the lawyer, but of course you're writing these notes, and you're passing them on to your lawyers repeatedly, which clearly shows that you are 110% frustrated with what is happening. I want to reiterate, I don't think Dawn Richard was as bad as people are making out to be. She helped to corroborate stuff that Cassie was going through, mention names like Usher, like Neyo, that are powerful. Also, other names, like, Roger Bonds and, the security, other people like Ruben, and how basically Cassie was getting DV left, right? She was scared for her own safety, and the question of that they were asking her, would you agree that you made more money with Diddy as Diddy Dirty Money and Danny Kane than on your own? She said yes. I mean, well, obviously because Danny Kane and Diddy D Money had Diddy's money behind those projects to support her. So of course, and her and his connections, so of course she's not going to be as successful on her own because she doesn't have Diddy and all of the connections. So I find these questions to be annoying, but of course Nicole was making out to be that, she only wants the money. That's why she was returning. She's a gold digger. She is somebody who basically, her story didn't make any sense. That's not how Nicole was trying to make it out to be. Nicole was catching it out left, right, and center, being a lot more abrasive, very assertive, very direct questions, a lot more than how Anna Estava was being with Cassie. Obviously because Cassie was pregnant, so I think that that was something that Dawn I don't think was prepped for. And therefore, because she wasn't prepped for that assertiveness, it looked like she wasn't being as credible, or there were certain holes in your story because 1 minute you're doing this for the money, which you've admitted the next minute you're saying that you're not doing this for the money, you're doing this for justice. So it's like, what's going on? But I don't think the jury is going to take away from this that Dawn is a liar. I think they're going to take away from this for the fact that you once again DV is happening with Cassie, and the fact that they've created unsafe environments. Not only that, but Kerry, Morgan's testimony helped to corroborate Dawn Richard by saying that, they hid for their safety, which is basically what Dawn was saying anyways. All in all, I think this was a great day in court for the prosecution. Absolutely, 110%. So I think we're on good track this week. I think this week's testimonies are going to be very interesting because we're going to hear a lot more from the bad boy assistants and people who worked for them. I also believe James Cruz is testifying, and that in itself is going to be interesting. Definitely a very interesting witness list. I also believe that, witness 5, whoever that person is going to be, probably is going to be Christina. I believe that she must be testifying if she is truly testifying, since it seems strange to me that she won't be involved in this case. If that is the case, then it's unquestionably 110%. That's how I see it. A wrap for the D-subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below, and give this video a thumbs up. All you have to do is click the subscribe button, and if you want to, send a tip. There is a $sign there, and it goes a long way. I think Kerry and Dawn Richard did a great job, especially Kerry's headstrong behavior. I'll see you guys soon for another video.